song if you don't ring it, as they say. Thank you so much for coming this afternoon. On behalf of my brother, Leslie McLeod-Miller, yeah, there we go, and my mother, Sandra McLeod-Miller, and the community of people who keep ANTHEMS alive. Thank you very much indeed for coming. This very special concert that today we have, as I've been saying for some time, probably Australia's finest baritone, and thinking about another baritone of another age, the finest baritone of his generation, Peter Dawson, who came up to Albury and did 2 concerts here. I think Madam Melba came here, I think 4 times, 3 times standing up. Wasn't that right? As I recall. And Stephen Mould, because he's a celebrated name in the world of opera, and also has written the leading book, I consider, on opera in Australia now, which is the Cilario book. Absolutely amazing. And so both of these gentlemen are extraordinary talents, and we're so fortunate to have them here in Albury. And also thinking about Peter Dawson as well. We're growing up with all those wonderful songs, and so it's so very important to our nation, our culture, but of course they'll probably say something about that themselves. So without further ado, will you please welcome the one and only Warwick Fyfe, and also Stephen Mould, please. Thank you.
Country of our birth. as the rivers ebb and flow, there's a cross high in the heavens, watching o'er us here below, where we love to waltz Matilda and sing of Gundagai. Oh, shoot the curling breakers underneath the clear blue sky. We could wander far horizons, but wherever we may go, from the Outback to the ocean, it's the perilous land I know.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You have just heard From the Outback to the Ocean by Dorothy Dodd, who you may or may not have heard of before. She was a very popular composer and lyricist in the 1930s and 40s. She was one of many composers who were trying to put together ballads, other forms of popular music, in order to create something that was innately Australian. And that is really what the theme of this concert is. Obviously, she was also a woman, and there are quite a lot of works, pieces that we're performing which are also by women. Being a musician, it was almost a man's profession back in those days, but a lot of women particularly composed music, played the piano, and they were less visible than men, but there is a lot of interesting material, some of which Warwick has found for this concert. So, you know Warwick already, I'm sure. He's no stranger to audiences in Albury. He's also one of Australia's finest singers, not just opera singers. We have been friends for something in the order of 30 years. I'm Stephen Mould. I haven't been to Albury since 1972. But I was here for a particular reason, and I'll explain a little bit more about that a little bit later. This program has been devised by Warwick as a celebration of all things Australian. And he has been, I think, quite inspired in his life and his career by the career of Peter Dawson, the great Australian bass baritone, who sang and also wrote many popular songs and other lighter music. It was two things that really turned Peter Dawson, well, three things that turned Peter Dawson into a household name. One of them was he was an extraordinary artist, no doubt about that. The other was the advent of radio, and the other was the coming of the 78th record. And it's that made him so well known, not just in Australia, but also overseas. People who would never have been able to see Peter Dawson live. Must also be said that his voice had a certain quality that it sort of came out of the grooves of those 78 records and made you feel that you were listening to a very powerful voice in the room where you were playing it. It was a very communicative type of sound. There's another influence behind today's recital, and that is a gentleman called Roger Neal, who is a friend of Warwick's and a historian with a fascination for all things Australian. And some years ago, he drew Warwick's attention to a series of 6 bush songs written by William James around 1922. This is one of the first, we're about to perform this, and this is one of the first important song cycles, if you like, art song, by an Australian composer, and they were famously recorded by Peter Dawson. Ballarat-born William James was an important pianist, a composer, and also a pioneer of broadcasting. Some of you may know the Australian Christmas carols that were written by William James, which certainly quite a few years ago used to be incredibly popular. The north wind is tossing the leaves, the red dust is over the land, the shadows are under the eaves and the grass in the paddock is brown. As we lift up our voices and sing to the Christ child, our heavenly King. If you've never encountered these, I can really recommend them to you, especially at Christmas time. James also seems to have been something of a fan of Nellie Melba's. And two of these 6 songs that you're about to hear carries a special dedication by Special Desire to the diva herself. So please welcome back Warwick for this feast of Australian art song. May I also say that we do absolutely love applause. Fond of applause. But of course in the tradition of a leader recital with these 6 songs, if you wouldn't mind refraining until the end. You'll know when the end comes. It's unmistakable. We would be doubly appreciative. Thank you.
Also, it's almost certainly the only first, or maybe, I hope not the last time, that you hear all 6 songs, because the Peter Dawson recording on YouTube, 1927, it truncates one of the songs, it does them out of order, and it leaves one out entirely. So this is almost certainly the first time you will have heard a performance of all 6. I stand to be corrected on that, but I think it's quite likely. Okay.
Saddle up, for the morn is here. It's goodbye to the mist and gloom, for the wild ducks cry in the swamp again, and the waters are in bloom. Where the creeks lie cool, if the giddies shake, where the torrent's bed is bed. Saddle up, you must gallop forth to the land of who knows where. Saddle up, for the winds that call have a message that seems to say, you must blaze your trail to the sunlit land, and the brave days pass away. You must wheel your cattle and turn your load. You must live and do and dare. Saddle up, you must be a man in the land of who knows where. The
she lived until the ripe old age of 91. And she was unusual in that she was as I say, a woman composer from that era who also went off and studied in London and worked in London for a time before coming back to Sydney, where she was a leading pianist, composer, and also an advocate for music education in Australia. As a composer, she was very prolific, and this beautiful work entitled Gypsy Song was written around 1942. The poet was Patricia Hackett. So a female poet, which is not so unusual. She was a contemporary of Hyde's, and she was also prolific in her own fashion. In fact, she has been described as an heiress, a barrister, a poet, an actor, and a theatre director. But for the next piece, it's largely her skills as a poet that we will be drawing upon. This is the Gypsy Song by Miriam Hart.
Feel the art.
Popular. Back to Croajingolong, the dog sits on the tucker box, and we should probably have in there back to Yarrawonga, but we don't. And there is a very strange reason for that, which I'm going to try and explain to you. Warwick and I have done many recitals of Leader and other kinds of songs together. We both have equally complementary, perhaps strange senses of humour. And we like looking for music that is not done so often, or music which has an odd story about it. And you can't get much odder than this. So the man who wrote Back to Yarrawonga, his name was Neil McBeath, he decided he'd like to write a song about Canberra. Yarrawonga had been such a success, he wanted a complimentary piece that could probably make him a whole lot more money. So why not use the nation's capital? So to do this was back in the 1920s, he went to Dunedin in New Zealand. I have absolutely no idea why, but he decided to write the song about Canberra in Dunedin. And he did that. At a certain point, he had the idea that he would like the song to be performed in Sydney. In fact, he wanted it to be performed at the Tivoli Theatre in Sydney by the vaudeville star of the 20s, Ella Shields. Again, I have no idea why. So, of course, these are the days where people didn't have emails and all the things that we have today. So he had to work out how to get his song from Dunedin over to Sydney and to do it quickly. So 2FC radio came to his aid, and he was able to transmit from Dunedin to Sydney. So he read out the text of the song, and then he sang the song, and there were people in Sydney transcribing the thing, and then they put together very quickly an arrangement for orchestra, and that night Ella Shields sang the song in Sydney, and that performance was transmitted all the way to Dunedin. And that is one of the strangest stories about the composition and first performance of a song that I have ever heard. It did create something of a sensation at the time, which is why I'm here telling you about it, because I read about it. We're about to perform this bracket. The other point about it, because I did stay in Canberra on the way down here to do a bit of research. And of course I heard a lot of Canberras. I heard some Canberras. But Neil McBeath, the composer, seems to be quite certain that it should be pronounced Canberra. And I actually am at the point where I try not to say the word because I have no idea how you should pronounce it. But it's definitely Canberra. And so before we sing this bracket, I should make the point that the second number, which I just told you about, takes much less long to sing than the story that I've told.
The other reason we're doing it is because I'm from Canberra.
Are you from Canberra or Canberra?
I'm definitely from Canberra, but they changed the pronunciation of Monica. It was apparently Manuka, and the Queen came along and said, "Hey, this is Monica," and from then on it was Monica. So I think there probably was a time when it was Canberra, but I don't know. Yeah.
There's a land of calm beneath a sweltering sun, where the water blossoms grow, where a laughing jack and a bushman's track and a little home I know. Yes, I'm going there from the heat and glare, where the Southern Cross will glow. Back to Croajingolong, oh, that's the place where I belong. Where the sun-kissed maid, neath the gum tree shade, waits for me to go along to Croajingolong. No longer will I roam from my own Australian home. So I'll hunt my bluey and I'll shout a cooey back to Croajingolong. Now the sun is set and I long to get to a track so wild and free, where a priceless pearl, my Australian girl, who is waiting there for me. Now I'm nearing home, never more to roam from my shack by Southern sea. Back to Croajingolong, for that's the place where I belong. Canberra in the morning, in the dawning of the day. Make for old Canberra in the morning, the sun will show the way. There's no need to hurry, no need to worry, where everything seems wrong. Make for old Canberra in the morning, and you'll soon find you're singing this song. This little song will haunt you as you are wandering along the track. This little song you'll want to sing all the way there and coming back. It's just an old bushland melody meant for joy to bring. This happy song in bushland, lone sundowners sing. Made for old Canberra in the morning, in the dawning of the day. Made for old Canberra in the morning, the sun will show the way. There's no need to hurry, no need to worry, where everything seems wrong. Make for old Canberra in the morning, and you'll soon find you're singing a song. This is one of the ones my mum used to sing with us next. Yeah, she had a bit of a hit parade, you know. This was one of the bad ones. Yes. I'm just a lovelorn, weary coot, and I've composed a song. It's all about a girl I love and dream of all day long. The rhythm seemed to come to me whilst milking my favourite cow. And as my hands went up and down, I wrote this song I vow. My Mabel waits for me underneath the bright blue sky, where the dog sits on the tuckabox 5 miles from Gundagai. I meet her every day, and I know she's dinky pie, where the dog sits on the tuckabox 5 miles from Gundagai. Now, poets in the days gone by were often much inspired by lovely wenches that they loved and otherwise admired. But though they wrote some lovely prose whilst in a state of bliss, why even Shakespeare never wrote a poem as good as this. My Mabel waits for me underneath the bright blue sky, where the dog sits on
fascinating thing to do. My father came from Melbourne. He was born there. And every school holidays, we would drive from Sydney all the way down to Melbourne and back again. And Albury tended to be the place that we stopped off in, to have a meal or to stay overnight or whatever. So we travelled through Albury a great many times. On a couple of those occasions, maybe only 2 or 3, the last one was in 1972, we visited my grandfather who lived here. He was actually a builder and his name was Redbur's Mould. And so from what I can gather from the internet, he built most of Albury. Well, to be clear about that, he built in 1947 a new wing for the Albury District Hospital, the maternity wing. In 1955 he built the Albury Golf Clubhouse, and in 1960 the first Woolworths supermarket in the town. So I mean that's most of Albury, and yeah, I only ever saw him a couple of times in my life here in Albury. And what happened was he was a builder, and he was living in Melbourne, but he was constantly travelling around Victoria and New South Wales, the regions. He'd often take my father and his brother with him, so my father had lots of memories of that. And on one occasion, somewhere in the late 1930s, he came to Albury and he had a very nice time here. And he managed to forget that he had a wife and 3 children in Melbourne. And as you do. And this is where he lived for all that time and continued to build buildings, and he died here in 1975. And I found his grave in the crematorium, and I'm hoping to go and see it early in the morning. So that is, it's not the only reason I'm here in Albury, but there was this connection, and I just thought, oh, this would be fascinating. I was surprised, 1972. So when you're 11, places often look smaller than they are in reality. And when I went to find somewhere to eat last night on the main street, it's an extraordinary town. It's fabulous. I had remembered as being much smaller. I just expected it's expanded since then. Anyway, that's enough about me and the state of the building industry. We now come to some English songs, and we have 2. The first was written in 1911 when a lady called Katie Moss travelled to Helston in Cornwall for the annual Floral Day, which included a furry dance. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she evidently enjoyed this experience because while she was on the train returning to London, she wrote the song which was to become incredibly famous, the Floral Dance. And it very quickly became a worldwide hit, once again due to Peter Dawson and all of those 78 records. What is a furry dance? I'm very glad you asked that question. It takes place on May the 8th, and it celebrates the arrival of spring. And this particular festival is traditionally held every year in Helston, and the dances typically are fitted out or covered in lily of the valley. That's the story. We're not doing that, are we? we thought about a small tribute to Dame Edna, but then we decided that. Then in 1935, another English person, Leslie Coward, wrote Wandering the King's Highway. He was inspired by the notion of the open road, freedom, adventure, and new beginnings. The song aroused similar resonances when it came to Australia, but may not have become the hit that it did, again, without Peter Dawson's having recorded it. So, to bring the first half of today's recital to a close, we offer you 2 examples of songs from Merry England. Wow.
As I walked home on a summer's night, when stars in heaven were shining bright, far away from the footlights' glare, into the sweet and scented air of a quaint old Cornish town. Borne from afar the gentle breeze, joining the murmur of summer seas, distant tones of an old world dance, played by the village band perchance. On the common came floating down. I thought I could hear the curious tone of the cornet, clarinet, and big trombone, fiddle, cello, big bass drum, bassoon, flute, and euphonium. Far away as in a trance, I heard the sound of the floral dance. And soon I heard such a bustling and prancing, and then I saw the whole village was dancing. In and out of the crowds as they came, old folk, young folk, all the same, in that quaint old Cornish town. Every boy took a girl round the waist and hurried her off at tremendous haste. Whether they knew one another, I care not. Whether they care at all, I know not. But they kissed as they danced along. And there was a man with a curious tone of the cornet, clarinet, and big trombone, fiddle, cello, big bass drum, bassoon, flute, and euphonium, each one making the most of his chance, all together in the floral dance. I felt so lonely standing there, and I could only stand and stare, for I had no maid with me. Lonely I should have to be in that quaint old Cornish town. When suddenly hastening down the lane, a figure I knew I saw quite plain. With outstretched hands I rushed along, and carried her into that merry throng. And a fiddle and all went dancing along. We danced to the band with the curious tone of the cornet, clarinet, and big trombone, fiddle, cello, big bass drum, bassoon, flute, and euphonium, each one making the most of his chance, all together in the floral dance, dancing here, prancing there, jinking, jogging everywhere, up and down and round and round. Hurrah for the Cornish floral dance! as I roam the land. I shall meet again tomorrow friends who will clasp my hand. So with a tone to greet me as the darkness is turned to day, I and my friendly memories start out upon our way. So long to you, you're to be on the road again. So long to you, you're to hitch up my load again. It's been great to meet you here. Right good company and right good cheer. Now then, my lads, anyone like to come with me? A wanderer's life is free. I can say night and day, nothing will worries me. Nights are cold, maybe I am growing old, yet I thrive, and the pals I meet make it good to be alive. Comrades, farewell, what if we never meet again? The memory will stay as I go, rain or snow, wandering the king's highway. Wandering the king's highway.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's a 20-minute interval, and if you'd like to have tea or coffee, you can go down to the carriageway, and if you'd like to have another drink of something bubbling and refreshing and make you in difficulty with the police, then you might like to go out outside of the veranda and by all means wander around the garden. And also there are other sausage rolls and cakes and all sorts of things. So, smells, isn't it? How exciting! Thank you.
Sorry about the blood delay. I had a blood low. So, just rang my diabetes nurse and she explained the setting. I had to put the thing on, and then Peter, actually, I asked if he had some oranges, and he said, "Oh yes, yes." And he ran up and he actually squeezed it for me. So he was squeezing oranges.
Freshly squeezed.
So if this thing starts cheeping, it's just my diabetes pump. Yeah. Okay. Yes, exactly.
I had written him a letter which I had, for want of better knowledge, sent to where I met him down the Lachlan years ago. He was cheering when I knew him, so I sent the letter to him, just on spec, addressed as follows: Clancy on the Overflow. And an answer came directed in a writing unexpected, and I think the same was written with a thumbnail dipped in tar. 'Twas his sharing mate who wrote it, and verbatim I will quote it. Clancy's gone to Queensland roving, and we don't know where he are. fancies, visions come to me of Clancy. On a droving down the Cooper, where the western drovers go. As the spoke are slowly stinging, Clancy rides behind them singing. For the drover's life has pleasures that the townsfolk never know. And the bush has friends to meet him, and their kindly voices greet him. In the murmur of the breezes, and the river on its bars. And he sees the vision splendid of the sunlit plains extended, and at night the wondrous glory of the everlasting stars. I am sitting in my dingy little office, where a stingy ray of sunlight struggles feebly down between the houses tall, and the fetid air and gritty of the dusty, dirty city through the open window floating spreads its foulness over all. And in place of lowing cattle, I can hear the fiendish rattle of the tramways and the buses making hurry down the street, and the language uninviting of the gutter children fighting comes fitfully and faintly through the ceaseless tramp of fear. And the hurrying people daunt me, and their pallid faces haunt me as they shoulder one another in their rush and nervous haste, with their eager eyes and greedy, and their stunted forms and weedy, for the townsfolk have no time to grow, they have no time to waste. And I somehow rather fancy that I'd like to change with Clancy, like to take a turn at droving where the seasons come and go, while he faced around the eternal of the dashboard and the journal. But I doubt it suit the office, Clancy of the Overflow. and some to sow and reap, and some to pick with beavers, a shearing greasy sheep. But some there are sundowners who take the easy way, no care about tomorrow if they make shift to a day. Whalin' up the Lachlan, whalin' up the Lachlan, gone with axe and plough. Whalin' up the Lachlan, whalin' up the Lachlan, the Billy's boiling now. We'll fill our pipes and yarn them, and watch the world roll by. Whalin' up the Lachlan River, under a starry sky. Does anybody know what I like to pink with beavers means? Because now, ever since I learned that song, I've been telling, whenever I have to do anything, she says, what are you doing? I sort of say, I'm just off to pink with beavers. Anyway, Stephen.
I don't have the answer either. Two classic Australian ballads to open the second half. Clancy of the Overflow must surely be one of the greatest of Australian ballads, immortalised in the music of Alan Arlen, who was inspired by the words of Banjo Patterson, who created that poignant portrait of Clancy, a drover who enjoyed the free, roving life, very romanticised, through the eyes of a disillusioned office worker. The second song was actually composed by Peter Dawson and is linked with Clancy of the Overflow by its idealisation of the great outdoors and also its mention of the Lachlan River. Warwick's had a couple of issues around some of the texts that we haven't been able to somehow unlock. I was playing Whalin' Up the Lachlan one day, and all of a sudden it occurred to me, do they have whales in the Lachlan River? It was something I found rather disturbing. So I went to my friend Dr. Google and looked it up on the internet, and evidently whaling has something to do with cyber security. But I doubt it has much to do with that song. So the explanation that I've come up with is that whaling is a word that itinerants used to use to describe their patterns of roaming from place to place, which is a pervading theme of the recital. Both of these songs convey a sense of Australian patriotism, which seems to be fast disappearing today. So, patriotism, whether at home or abroad, is never far beneath the surface of popular English songs of this period. We'll now perform three such songs. The first looks back, that's on the road to Mandalay, looks back on the time when the English Empire stretched out its tentacles across the world. The next, Old Father Thames, depicts the most famous English river as a constant and enduring moral force. And There'll Always Be in England conveys a sense of optimism that is sometimes hard to credit today in this post-Brexit period.
I'm in favour of Brexit.
we don't have to agree
On everything.
Yes. Thank you.
And you're going to get all three verses of Road to Mandalay, so buckle up.
Drunken, glowing, good to man. try to be always kind. It doesn't matter what the rest say. You're bound to leave them all behind. It's your job to do your duty. Be faithful to all your friends. For England and home and beauty, like old Father Thames. High in the hills, down in the dales, happy and fancy free. Old Father Thames keeps rolling along, out to the mighty sea. What does he know? What does he care? Nothing for you or me. Old Father Thames keeps rolling along, out to the mighty sea. He never seems to worry, doesn't care for fortune's fame. He never seems to hurry, but he gets there just the same. Kingdoms may come, kingdoms may go, whatever the end may be. Old Father Thames keeps on rolling along, out to the mighty sea. I give you a toast, ladies and gentlemen. I give you a toast, ladies and gentlemen. May this fair land we love so well, in dignity and freedom dwell. The world may change and go awry, while there is still one voice to talk along.
Fantastic.
For a small island, they're rather noisy about their patriotism, aren't they? A lot more noisy than Australians are about theirs. We've become a little bit giddy with all of this transcontinental switches between Australian patriotism and English patriotism, the mother country in Australia, the city and the outback. But to conclude, we're returning firmly to Australia and to national songs, national anthems, and various personifications of that elusive thing, the Australian identity. Before we undertake that considerable task, we would like to acknowledge and thank some of the people without whom today's concert would not have been possible. So firstly, our sincere thanks to Father Peter McLeod Miller. Who has made us very, very welcome. And it has been a great pleasure to perform here in Adamshurst, which must be one of Albury's great historical and architectural gems. And I don't believe that it was built by my grandfather. We would also like to express gratitude to Warwick's sister, Sue Fyfe, who's here today, a parishioner of St Matthew's Anglican Church, who was the driving force behind organising this concert.
Thank you, Sue. The wonderful turnout that we've had doesn't happen by itself, I don't think. And we are also very grateful to Warwick's wife, Ruth Francis, for the wonderful poster that she designed that so splendidly sums up the ethos of the concert, and also for her ongoing support for us in our musical endeavours and madnesses. Perhaps most importantly, we'd like to thank every one of you, the audience, every one of you who's come today, for your attendance and also for your enthusiasm, which we did pick up on, and for your shared love of this music, which is very dear to all our hearts. Before we sing this final bracket, I do need to make some kind of a health warning to you. Warwick holds a very strong conviction, which is that when Advance Australia Fair is performed, it should be performed with all 4 verses. These complete texts, I have to admit, are splendid, and with every verse they become less politically correct as the anthem proceeds. But I have a funny feeling that not many people here today are going to mind too much about that. So Warwick is going to perform all 4 verses, and I'm going to continue playing as long as I have the strength. We thank you again for being such a wonderful audience and making this a very joyous occasion for us.
Australian anthems, official and unofficial.
Once a jolly swagman had by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me, waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come waltzing Matilda Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he shoved that jump in his tucker bag. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me. Up rode the spotter, mounted on his thoroughbred. Down came the troopers, 1, 2, 3. Who's that jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag? You'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come waltzing Matilda with me. Who's that jolly jumbuck you've got in your tucker bag? You'll come waltzing Matilda with me. Up jumped the swagman and sprang into that billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, you'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. And his ghost may be heard as you pass by that billabong. You'll come a-waltzing Matilda with me. There's a scene that lingers in my memory of an old bush home and friends I long to see. That's why I am yearning just to be returning along the route to Gundagai. There's a track winding back to an old-fashioned shack along the road to Gundagai, where the blue gums are growing, the modern beachy flowing beneath that sunny sky, where my daddy and mother are waiting for me, and the pals of my childhood once more I will see. Nevermore will I roam when I'm heading straight for home along the road to Gundagai. When I get back there, I'll be a kid again. Oh, I'll never have a thought of grief or pain. But God's flag, the standard of the brave. With all her faults, we love her still. Britannia rules the wave. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance, Australia fair. Beneath our radiant southern cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make our youthful Commonwealth renowned through all the lands. For loyal sons beyond the seas, with boundless plains to share. With courage, let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair. Should foreign foe sight our coast, or dare afoot to land, we'll rouse to arms like sires of yore to guard our native land. Britannia then shall surely know beyond wide oceans roll. Her sons in fair Australia's land still pick a British soul. In joyful strains, then let us sing. Advance Australia fair. Okay, well, this one I'm going to pronounce, and the home referred to in this song is the home of all of us, Australia. Might be my finest hour. Anyway, after you, sirs. There's no place like home. No, there's no place like home.
I'll sit down for just 1 moment. I'd also like to thank you for reawakening our own values as well. And I think that the St Matthew's version of Advanced Australia Fair, I think, will be restored. I think and it'll be all your fault. But I think it does remind us to acknowledge our musical elders, past, present, and emerging. And also, as you were seeing that, I couldn't help but think that Melba's harmonium there, Joan Sutherland's shoes, of course. I know that think about the shoes that anyone would feel to take over from you. Well, how will we ever think about the future, the musical future? Don't we have a tremendous, yet a particular Australian voice? And I think that you've actually, both of you, have reminded us of the importance of that Australian voice in worlds perhaps losing that individuality and the important values that we have. So thank you so much for the tremendous work and heroic, I think. Heroic, absolutely heroic. Thank you so much indeed. We're so very grateful. And think about the team of people that make today happen. And I'd like to particularly acknowledge, not the elders, no, the young people, of course, in St Matthews. No one's over 35. There's no such thing as an expert over the age of 30s, you know. But all the wonderful team. Someone said to me this morning that I should want to thank the leadership of St Matthews. Well, and I said, it's you. And I'd like to thank the wonderful people of Albury that continue the importance of music and the investment, and because you have a child or a grandchild as well, to continue to awaken them to this sort of potential and not just vocally but dramatically and our values musically. And I was distressed, and as you will be distressed, to know that Steve was intending to leave Australia. And I would like, on behalf of Adamshurst, my mother and our family, to offer you your passport, sanctuary in our safe. Because the musical collaboration of your quality is so very precious. And you won't find anyone like him in England, or France, or Santa Claus Land, or anywhere. Because I do think that because you have something special to offer at the collaboration. So I'd like to caution you against getting on plane. But thank you so much, and you probably don't have another encore. You don't?
No,
you don't.
sorry.
No. But you need to leave you need to keep your voice. We haven't told. But thank you so much, and to each one of you, and to remind you that I was talking to Sally Ann Russell yesterday, and she said if she could have been here, she would have been here. She's in Tasmania singing. She's just come back from Paris singing these songs that have earned. And with a great, she said that she would love to organise. She's trying to organise you to be here at the same time as our festival. Always, but she's struggling. She will do it. She will do it. But our festival this year is on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th of November, and it's very well sold. But there are still some tickets available, and again, we try only to offer the best. When